4, Building Meaningful Connections. Welcome back to the Schnarr podcast, and welcome to week 4 of our happiness journey. I'm Schnarr, and I'm glad you're here. Every week we come together to grow and glow, learning to live more fully, more consciously, as we glow from the inside out. This is week 4 of 12 of the Schnarr podcast happiness series. If you're following along in my 12-week happiness book, that's fantastic. If you don't have the book, that's absolutely fine, but you will want something to write with and to write on. If you'd like to get the book, just go to the About section of wherever you found the Schnarr podcast, and there will be a link to my 12 happiness coach sessions for coaches and individuals book on Amazon. Or you can just go to Amazon and search for Schnarr Coach. That's Schnarr Coach. Over the past few weeks, you've been doing the important internal work. You've explored what happiness means to you, practiced gratitude, and started reshaping the way you think. Now we're expanding outward, because happiness doesn't exist in isolation. It's deeply connected to the relationships in your life. As humans, we're wired for connection. We need to feel seen, understood, and supported. Strong relationships don't just make life more enjoyable, they also give us a sense of stability and meaning. At the same time, it's very easy to let relationships drift into the background when life gets busy. You might assume people know how you feel about them, or that you can reconnect later, but over time that distance can grow. This week is about being more intentional with connection, not in a forced or overwhelming way, but in a way that brings more depth and presence to your relationships. A good place to start is to look at your current social circle. Think about the people in your life and how each relationship feels. Some people likely bring energy, support, and positivity, but others may feel neutral, and some may even leave you feeling drained or unbalanced. This isn't about judging anyone. It's about becoming aware of where your time and emotional energy are going. When you see that more clearly, you can begin to make more intentional choices about where you invest your attention. Once you've identified the relationships that matter to you most, the next step is to nurture them. Meaningful relationships don't usually grow from big, dramatic gestures. They build through small, consistent actions over time. Reaching out to someone, checking in, making time for a conversation, or expressing appreciation can all strengthen a connection. What matters most is that it's genuine. A thoughtful message or a few minutes of focused attention can have more impact than a long but distraction interaction. One of the most powerful ways to deepen a relationship is simply by being present. When you're talking to someone, give them your full attention. Put your phone aside, listen without interrupting, and allow space in the conversation instead of rushing to respond. When people feel truly heard, it creates a stronger sense of connection and trust. Another important part of building meaningful relationships is allowing a bit more honesty into your conversations. Many interactions take a surface, or kind of stay at a surface level, because both people are staying in safe territory. When you share something slightly more real, whether it's how you're actually feeling or something that's been on your mind, it opens the door for a deeper connection. Doesn't mean sharing everything all at once, but even a small step towards honesty can change the tone of a conversation. Curiosity always plays a big role as well. When you show genuine interest in someone else's experience, it strengthens the relationship. Asking thoughtful questions and really listening to answers helps people feel valued. It also shifts conversations away from routine exchanges and into something more meaningful. At the same time, consistency is what allows relationships to grow. One good conversation can be meaningful, but connection deepens through repeated moments over time. Following up, checking in, and showing up when you say you will helps build trust. It creates a sense of reliability that makes relationships feel more secure and supportive. As you focus on strengthening connections, it's also important to recognize that not all relationships will contribute positively to your well-being. Some may feel one-sided or emotionally draining, and this is where boundaries become essential. Setting a boundary might mean limiting your time with someone, saying no when something doesn't feel right, or being more honest about your needs. Healthy relationships can handle boundaries and often become stronger because of them. In some cases, you may notice that a relationship no longer fits where you are in your life. Letting go or creating distance doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're recognizing what supports your well-being and what doesn't. And this can be uncomfortable, but it's part of building a healthier and more intentional life. If you're looking to build new connections, remember that meaningful relationships often start in simple ways. A small conversation, a shared interest, or a moment of openness that can be the beginning of something more. You don't need to force it to overthink it. Just be open to opportunities to connect, even in everyday situations. So as you move through this week, focus on a few key things. Take time to understand your current relationships, strengthen one connection each day, and be more present in your conversations. Allow a little more honesty, ask deeper questions, and notice how it feels to engage in a more intentional way. At the same time, protect your energy by setting boundaries where needed. At the end of the week, reflect on what changed. Did any relationships feel stronger? Did your conversations feel different? Do you feel more connected, not just to others, but to yourself with those interactions? Because that's what it's really about. Building relationships where you can show up as yourself, feel supported, and experience a sense of real connection. Next week, we'll turn inward again and focus on self-compassion, which is the foundation for how you relate to both yourself and others. For now, stay with this practice. Keep showing up, keep reaching out, and keep creating space for meaningful connection in your life. And remember, the quality of your relationships plays a powerful role in the quality of your happiness. See you next week. I sure hope you enjoyed this episode. You can support this podcast by going to patreon.com/the Schnarr podcast, or you can follow us on YouTube or Threads or Facebook or Insta or anywhere, really. We'd sure love to count you as one of our followers. And of course, anytime you like, subscribe, or share, it really helps me out. Thanks a lot.